Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well out there. My name is Tim and this is Grayscale Reviews. This is my own little personal review show where I'm going to be covering one movie per episode, anything from silent era to talkies, and I'm going to be diving into the movie, the packaging, the restoration, anything involving black and white classics. And why don't we first take this into modern era with color, and we'll head forward with the review of the 1921 movie, The Sheik, released by Paramount Presents. And I'm going to dive into this and tell you what I think of this release. Okay, so we're going to start this off talking about the movie itself. The story, the plot, the characters, the heartbeat of why we actually purchased these releases. And I liked this movie well enough. I don't really like doing ratings, but this is kind of a, I didn't love it, I didn't hate it. It's kind of in the middle. It's a really super straightforward story. It is a simple romance where things work out in the end and they fall in love, which is kind of a formula used many times throughout this time period. People back then didn't have a whole lot of forms of entertainment and they just wanted to go to a theater, watch a nice story, things unfold, they're happy, they leave the theater happy. And that's what you got here. There is things about this movie that if you view them through the lens of 2021, they don't quite sit right. Basically, the lead character played by Rudolph Valentino, like I said, he decides that he wants this woman and basically takes her. It portrays this idea that women are objects for men to just take, to own, and it doesn't quite sit right in today's context. But this is 100 years ago. The way women and men interacted is just different, so you have to watch it with that idea. But yeah, it's very weird in 1921 if you apply any of that stuff, because even the lead woman is what's her name in this, or her name is Diana in this, but Agnes Ayres. She is a very strong and independent woman to start this movie. She's kind of tomboyish, which is a little different for that time period, and she's a good character, and she ends up resisting and fighting against the Sheik when she gets basically abducted. She's very good, but there ends up being this transition that happens very quickly where her character goes from resisting to basically like Stockholm syndrome and falling in love with him. And that transition happens too quickly for me without very much motivation behind it. I wasn't crazy on that. It doesn't portray relationships and women in the best light. Like, her character, I thought, started off great. Where it ended up, not crazy about. But again, view it through 2021 lens. Now, you gotta think about it that this was released 100 years ago. Times were different, and that's how you need to view it. So another aspect is, of course, it's silent film, and you have to convey everything through facial expressions and everything. And I thought everyone did extremely well at that. Because it's a silent film, you only get title cards here and there with the conversation. The rest of it is conveyed through basically lip reading and kind of understanding what's going on. But again, super straightforward plot, easy to follow. It's enjoyable enough. If you like romance and if you want to be transported into a different time, it's a solid enough story. I'd still definitely still recommend checking this out. The score is fantastic. It is an excellent score. Of course, it's rescored. Who is the Roger Bellin? He did some episodes of Highlander and some other stuff, but he's the one that rescored this, because if you know anything about silent films were generally, the music was played by an organist or something in the front, like actually in the theater. There wasn't sound accompanying it. So silent films are rescored nowadays by different people. And like I said, I thought the score was great. It's a reason alone to sit there for the hour and 6 minutes and kind of just be transported in to a different time with like a nice desert setting and just enjoy the music. So it's definitely a recommendation for that. It's an enjoyable watch, and as a film fan, you would get a lot of respect for what this is. So that's my thoughts on the story. Next, we'll move on to the restoration. Okay, so the restoration. This is where Paramount deserves 100 thumbs up. Because first of all, this movie is public domain, which means even though this is a Paramount movie, anybody can release this movie now. This is freely out there for anyone to release, which cuts into their profits. That the fact that they still release this is incredible. And the fact they put so much effort into this. So they took different best parts of different sources out there to compile it together to come up with this. And it is absolutely remarkable. There's of course scratches galore. It looked like a couple of skipped frames here and there. There's some damage, but this is 100 years old, and many silent films have been completely lost to time, or parts have been lost so much that you can't even follow the story. So the fact that this is intact in really good shape is stunning. This picture is damn good for the time. So if you also don't know much about this era, they didn't really do black and white as much as tinting film to convey different things. You would have the yellow sepia type of tint during the daylight. There was like a blue type of tint they use at night to convey nighttime. There's like this purplish tint that they use to, I believe it's supposed to convey like romance. So you'll see the movie shift different colors throughout the time, and that's because the actual film stock was dyed and tinted to convey it. First of all, it helps maintain the actual film stock better, but it helps convey what they're going for a little bit more. And this generally stopped being a process done somewhere in the 20s. By the 30s, things were generally black and white. Besides, there's examples where they still did dyeing, especially with like sepia tone, which was used in Wizard of Oz. But it's done really well, and it looks so damn good. Like I said, I'm not going to score it. I don't really do scores, but excellent restoration. I'm going to be going into special features soon, but I wish there was a special feature on here that really went into what they went into actually preserving this. Because I am always for preserving history, and they did an incredible job. I really hope Paramount and some other studios will dig this deep into their catalog to preserve some other movies that basically could be lost to time. We do not want movies to be lost to time. That is an awful thing we want to preserve. And yeah, Paramount killed it. They absolutely killed it. Couldn't be happier with that. Next up, we're going to go into the special features, or I guess I should say special feature. This is where this release is kind of lacking. Like I said, I would have really liked a piece on the restoration. We don't get anything like that. We only get one extra, which is so sad. But it's called Desert Heart, 100 Years of the Sheik. It's a 12-minute piece with Professor Leslie Minkoff de Bouch. I guess I'm pronouncing her name. But anyways, it's a very insightful piece. It's very well done. It's basically her going into talking about context of time and how the movie resonated then and what its inspiration and everything like that. It's a good piece. It's 12 minutes. It's very worth seeing. But that's all we get. Even on the title screen, it just says extra. Not extras, just extra. That is a bummer. I really wish there was just a little bit more. They put so much into this release to give us one extra. I love Paramount Presents. Love what they're doing. They're doing a great job. But that's just one little nitpick. I feel like could have did a little bit more with the extras. Next, we're going to be talking about the actual physical copy and just overall packaging. It's a typical Paramount Presents. You're going to have the opening flap. You're going to have just the nice clear case. It's standard for Paramount Presents. You've seen one Paramount Presents. You've seen them all. But it's a nice representation of a 100-year-old film. I enjoy Paramount Presents immensely, so I'm happy with the packaging. I'm happy they even put this much into this release, so kudos to them. It's another solid release by them. 2 thumbs up. Okay, so final thoughts. I went through basically every aspect of this. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this quite a bit. This is only 66 minutes. It's a good sit down for an hour and just be transported into another time. If you are a film fan, you like film history, check this out. You like the Paramount Presents line, of course, check this out. If you're just looking for a new classic to watch, I'd say check this out. This is a recommendation. It's definitely a recommendation. I had some, like I said, I didn't love the story, but it's worth seeing. This is definitely worth seeing. Kudos to Paramount on preserving a 100-year-old film that's in public domain. Absolutely incredible job by them. So yeah, this is my very first Grayscale reviews. I hope you liked it. I'm going to be covering some more classic movies coming up. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.